Hey guys, so for today's video I'm going to be doing something totally new. I definitely wanted to make this video because I am obsessed with podcasts. I literally listen to it every single day, well, to all of these every single day. So I hope that you enjoy this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't already. It makes me super duper happy, and let me know in the comments how your day is going or what type of videos you would like for me to make. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day or night, and let's get started on with the video. The Gary Vee audio experience is the first one. I love this podcast because it's just very motivational and inspirational, and just like it reminds me to like not be afraid to put myself out there and to remind myself to like not feel like down for any judgment or anything. Most of you might even know like who Gary Vee is. Like, he's pretty big at this point. But yes, I've been listening to him for a while, and I definitely highly recommend, if you are looking for a podcast like that, to definitely check that out. The Dave Ramsey Show podcast is really helpful. He basically gives advice to people who call in and are wanting some financial advice, whether they have a lot of loans and they want to buy a house. He's really like good with like letting them know like, hey, like you have this much of an income, like you shouldn't be doing this, or you need to prioritize this or stuff like that. So he's really good with like giving you advice financially and stuff like that. So I really loved like listening to his advice and seeing how he kind of takes on these situations. It's really good, and I feel like I'm learning a lot. So it's really cool to listen to him and see all these scenarios that various people are in, like all the depth that there is, like all the situations, like it's insane. But yeah, it's really interesting, and I highly recommend if you are into like kind of learning to manage your money. I definitely recommend that one. But the next podcast is called The Real Podcast with Natalie Barbu. Like, some of her podcasts are about like, she brought in a financial advisor, she has brought in like a mental health advocate, YouTubers, influencers, like all kinds of things. So you kind of learn a lot about like all of these different scenarios. I watch her YouTube videos, and then I also listen to her podcast a lot. I really love just like how driven she is, how motivational she is, and like how basically inspiring the whole podcast is, because so many different people with different backgrounds come in and they talk about their experiences. So like it could be like about like all kinds of like different situations, different scenarios, but I always learn something, which is really cool. And yes, she has definitely inspired me a lot to learn about like stocks, investing, and building my own business and stuff like that. She is basically like a boss girl, so I highly recommend. I strive to be a boss girl and own my own business one day, which would be super cool. So that is definitely like a huge goal of mine, hopefully in the future. The next two podcasts that I'm going to mention, but I'm going to start with one of them, which will be on here. But basically the first one is Dateline. I love Dateline. I never really got into like watching or like listening to like crime stories really, and recently as I started work, my coworkers started telling me about like Dateline NBC and then other bunch of podcasts that we've tried listening to it, and we'll listen to it like at the same time, which is pretty funny. But it's the best because then we just like message each other like who do you think it is, like what do you think it happened, like stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and now we're trying to like make it bigger in terms of like joining, like having other people join. But yeah, so it's pretty cool, and I definitely got into these podcasts. So I highly recommend if you're into like crime stories, even if you aren't into, like I never thought I would be into like crime stories, but like I'm literally like at 9 a.m. I'm like listening to crime stories. So I highly recommend if you're interested in any of that. Super interesting. The cases are insane. And then the last one that I want to mention is actually 2020. So it's like 20/20. I will have the image here, but I love that one as well. It is really good. I think it only has like a few episodes actually, because we just found it. But I definitely highly recommend that one as well. It has really good stories, and also like Dateline, it's pretty similar, but obviously it's like different stories. But I believe Dateline comes up with a episode every single day, almost. Like I've noticed that some days it'll skip, but for the most part it's every single day. But I don't think 2020 comes up with it every single day. I think maybe once a week. But I also really like those as well. Those are pretty much all the podcasts that I've currently been obsessed with recently, so I'm sure that more will come up. I could definitely like group them if I find more in all these categories or other categories that I'm interested in. But let me know what podcasts you guys listen to, if you listen to any podcasts. And that's pretty much it. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I hope you're having a beautiful day or night, and I will talk to you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.